Go Power Rangers.
Do do do
Go
do
Power Rangers.
do do do
Go
do.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Your show has plenty seasons, yeah.
Endless, 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 list.
Yeah.
You know what? That actually did turn
This
out
remix
better.
can be purchased on iTunes for non-payments of $19.95.
I would be willing to sell that for yes.
Please no CODs.
You need to go set up an account now, record that song again, and then sell it.
We probably should. But yeah, hi everybody. This is Radio Tokyo. I'm Jonathan. Brandon's here. Nick's here. This is clearly our Power Rangers episode, and it's doing thus far other than the initial issue with trying to get the show started. This is a hell of a lot better than our Gravity Falls episode. Look, Nick, I remembered the name of the show this time. I get points.
I
Yeah,
remember
because
that. It was horrible. I butchered the song
it was.
horribly. I wasn't there.
But it was still horrible, so you're completely right. Because someone kept laughing the entire time. Even though I did my part, I did it correctly.
You did, and like it I think. See, really, if we weren't going to get like a copyright strike on using the show's theme, I would have just used that. But I think it was a good first try for actually doing an a cappella version of a theme song. But you know, not everyone's gonna know what the hell the Gravity Falls theme sounds like. But I think nearly everybody knows what Power Rangers sounds like. So we're arguably better off having gone with Power Rangers over Gravity Falls and it working out.
Well, I
True,
mean,
and you have my lovely singing voice too. You know,
yes,
very
you
improved.
bring the entire group together. You make the song.
I try.
It's true. Actually, Brandon entirely carried us. Nick, you're horrible. You're fired.
No, you're the horrible one here.
No,
Everyone knows it.
no.
Actually, I think Nick did pretty well, and Nick, as a recognition of your hard work, I'm going to add an extra 0 to your paycheck.
Yes! I now make $00.00. Yes.
Woo,
Well,
celebrate
okay,
that.
okay. Look,
You can take that to the bank.
okay, look. If you're going to pay him more, then I'm going to give him a raise, and it's going to be 3 times what he's making. Normally, I double the current payment. So Nick, you get to make 3 times more than what you're making right now.
See, I'm finally getting the recognition that I've always deserved. Just like Power Rangers.
Nick's making more than me, and I'm still like technically like a guest.
I mean,
No, actually,
you
you
are
make
a
way
guest.
more than Nick. You make way more than Nick.
Well, I mean, you are a guest, so usually the guest doesn't get paid. Unless you're Hillary Clinton, but that's a different matter.
Oh, Nick, why did
I saw
why
this
did you have
awesome
to
picture
mention
on
politics?
Facebook of all these evil corporations that are paying into Clinton, and the top one was Skynet.
I mean, I can believe that. I believe that Skynet is paying Hillary Clinton. Actually, I believe that Skynet is controlling Hillary Clinton because she's a robot. That's what I believe.
Hey. Do not insult robots in that manner.
Cybernetic organism.
Well, I mean, we are kind of talking about robots. I mean, evil robots. I mean,
Giant mecha.
that's what the Power Rangers were fighting.
We are,
Sometimes.
Giant mecha
but
with 2 points of articulation.
but since you brought up politics, I have to.
No,
We're straight.
Just one
We're going to
rant.
Power Rangers.
Just one
Just
rant.
Power
I promise.
Rangers.
I promise. I'll keep it under 5 minutes. I promise.
You never
No.
promised.
This is Power
Do it
Rangers.
after.
Power Rangers now.
Oh! Believe me, you're gonna get the Power Rangers rant, but I have to just say with one thing, because I watched the debate last night. I fell asleep. It was so damn boring. But within 20 minutes, Marco Rubio was dancing around behind his podium. Ted Cruz actually ate a booger. Donald Trump uh, made a bunch of playground insults and tried to play a game of you show me yours, I'll show you mine. Um, and Kasich called them all the children that they are and actually answered policy questions. It was boring. I'm tired of these 900,000 shows, the Donald Trump shows are doing, and good job Fox News for actually doing their job and actually asking questions. See, under 5 minutes. That's all I had to say. They're a bunch of kids.
Yes, except Kasich, maybe.
Well, I'm voting for
Kasich.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sure, he's not an American citizen, but he's got big muscles, and he's been in lots of blockbuster movies.
I mean, aren't those the American ideals and values?
What, the ideas of an Austrian who was dispossessed by his own country? No.
Better than picking somebody who's actually funded by Skynet.
Skynet are robot overlords of the future.
And I know that Skynet is controlling both Trump and Hillary. So whoever you vote for, you're actually getting Skynet.
Unless you vote for someone else.
Is Bernie Sanders John Connor?
Yes.
Then I'm voting for John Connor. Okay, so now that I got my under 5 minutes political rant out of the way, do you want my Power Rangers rant now, or do you want to wait?
Let's let our guests decide. What do you think?
Let's not put our rants back to back. They get scary. They give small children nightmares. I loved Power Rangers as a kid. Giant robots, ninja monsters, giant monsters, and teenagers with attitude who were actually like 25. But could do ninjutsu.
Yes, and martial arts.
And karate. So much so, I started learning karate. Wah!
I wanted to learn karate because of Power Rangers. It's true. I also wanted to ride around in giant Zords to,
I'm still working on that part.
That'd be awesome.
Just miniature, but, they're coming along. They'll grow. I keep feeding them every day.
What kind of Zords are you growing? I'm curious. I need to know.
Classified.
I mean, are they trucks?
Copy me!
Are they dinosaurs? I need more information, man.
Mutant dinosaurs. Inspired by
what? See, you have to show me. It's only right.
Jurassic World Power Ranger Dinozords. Yes.
It's only right that after the show, you take me and John, and we go over to your house, and we'll just teleport there like Power Rangers do, and we'll look at the Zords.
And I can be like John Hammond. I present to you Jurassic Zord Park. Power Rangers!
Do you know what's actually messed up about the whole teleportation system?
What?
They actually stopped teleporting. It's weird. But okay, for those of you who are aware of this, I've decided I'm going to keep watching the rest of Power Rangers. I'm going to finish the whole 22 seasons because I'm a masochist. But I finished Power Rangers Space last night, and that's actually part of my rant, is the problems I have with the whole series. But yeah. Interestingly enough, Power Rangers in Space is not too bad. Okay, so it's really not that bad.
Power Rangers in Space is the best Power Rangers of all of them. By far. There is no contest.
It looked the best, but I stopped watching after Turbo because I couldn't stomach it anymore.
Oh, I completely skipped Turbo, even as a
My
kid,
choice.
because it was so bad. Turbo is
It's
just...
the early days, though.
Oh, yes, yes.
Chronological order. The original Power Rangers was a phenomenon.
It was
Could not get the
fun.
toys. Parents waited in line at Toys R Us's so they could beat each other and bludgeon each other with soft plastic toys in order to get the toys that their kids really wanted.
I remember
Parents
getting the
tried to get them.
McDonald's
Didn't
toys.
happen.
I
Plus,
remember
they
the
were way too
McDonald's toys.
expensive.
There was Power Ranger toys everywhere. It was the only toy to have.
I had the Happy Meal ones, and I believe that was the only Power Ranger toys I like. It was the movie ones, and they had these little Zords that you could stick them in and that could ride around in them. But it was interesting because it wasn't some stupid little McDonald's figure, typical one. They actually had art like there were like 4 or 5 points of articulation, and there were 6-inch high action figures, and they had a freaking vehicle they could go in. That was probably the best McDonald's toy ever. I mean,
remember those.
yeah.
Or at least some of them. I remember McDonald's Power Ranger toys.
There was like a little falcon
Yeah,
and a bear and other stuff, but
So arguably the best McDonald's toys are still robots. They're the hamburger container that turns into a robot and the fry container that turns into a robot. Those.
yeah, that's true. I forgot about those.
I don't know. I mean, Power Ranger
those.
toys
Where
are
did
pretty
they
cool.
go?
Well, McDonald's kind of
the toys were pretty cool, and it took so many genres and shoved them together. Mecha, giant monsters, ninjas, superpowers.
By the way, speaking of ninjas, the Ninja Zord was actually not used by the Ninja Rangers, which is interesting enough. Well, it was later on, but I forget there was some stupid thing they added in for him to use. But the Ninja Rangers, it blows my mind how important this was in the movie, and in the series it was maybe 20 episodes.
The series got like a crap stick compared to the movie. They have all these awesome things from the movie. None of them got transferred over to the show.
Well, they did to an extent. We had
the awesome Power Ranger armor. That armor was awesome.
That actually does get reused, believe it or not. A version of it does, but it's not until in space you see that. But the movie, the initial one, of course, it was supposed to have been the original cast, but in the movie it was not the original. Like Jason and Trini were not in there. Well, actually, no, Jason, Trini, and Zach were not in there. What it was forecasting for kids who were intelligent. Hey, look, the ones you probably like are going away. No, instead we had Aisha, Rocky, and Adam, who took the place of those characters, and we had Ivan Ooze and everything. But the movie is actually not considered canon. What is canon is what they just ripped away from it, which was replacing the Yellow Ranger, Red Ranger, and Black Ranger with new people who got the shittiest treatment possible of any character on the show. And I actually do mean, I really mean that. When the actors left the show, it was all, of course, essentially over pay disputes, and they were tired of.
I don't know. The Blue Ranger.
I'm tired of being a teenager. I'm approaching 30 next month. I want a pay raise.
Blue Ranger probably had the worst treatment of everyone.
Oh, no. He was actually given a goodbye on the show. He actually has a last episode, okay? Trini, Jason, and Zach don't get that.
The behind the scenes, his character was very controversial, or his apparently he had a lot of problems with the fellow cast and director.
Yeah, the guy who played the Blue Ranger, David Yost, is gay, and he was subjected to homophobic rants and insults all the time. But his send off is actually better than what Jason, Trini, and Zach, the characters that they portrayed, got. When they left the show, like I said, it was all over money and everything, but oh, hey, look, we still have spots to fill. What can we possibly do? Well, they had to write in the new characters of Aisha, Rocky, and Adam, okay, which was, I don't remember the real names. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible person. Anyway, they start showing up all the time. Well, there are new kids who have come from some other some other city that are all of a sudden moving to Angel Grove at the same time, and surprise, they know one another and they're friends, and they start running in to Kimberly and Billy and everybody else. Uh, Tommy, that's the other person. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn about
Longest
Tommy.
living Power Ranger ever, Tommy.
You just watched the show and you don't remember.
Well,
Died so
look,
many times.
look. I am
Always
through
came
6
back.
seasons, well, almost 7 seasons of this show at this point in time. I'm allowed to forget a few things. Anyway,
Yeah.
when they come on, Jason, Trini, and Zach are still on the show, but it is stand-ins. It's people who look like them, and because Saban is a jackass, he actually owned the rights to the characters and to the footage that they had shot, whether it was used in the show or not. So
Oh wow.
these
They
three
got
actors.
nothing for their back of their heads being used.
That's right. They got nothing. But he literally owned them in the contract, whether they quit or not. So he reused footage of them repeatedly in multiple episodes, and finally, after I don't know 15 episodes, whatever it was, they were announced to have won some contest to go to a peace conference in Europe, and they're given a goodbye, but you never see their faces.
Bye.
It's always them walking past, and they had done the way they were treated was so bad. Like as an adult watching it again, you realize this is just them screwing with these people out of a chance to have made more money than what it is. Because Power Rangers was very, very, very popular at this point in time, and
It was
it
very
was the number one thing.
lucrative. I mean, the toy line, the series, and
So
you got to consider doing a weekly episode?
Initially, it went
yeah,
weekly,
probably
and
around every
then
week.
it finally went daily. It was every day but Sunday.
I think the weirdest thing about Power Rangers is how cheap they were in their production, considering how popular it was, and
True. The same Angel
how
Grove City over and over and over.
I mean, there's constant reused footage. They kept changing actors to save on costs because they didn't want to pay anyone.
I'm telling you,
The
people get tired of being a teenager once they reach 30.
Well, the only real person they kept around was Tommy.
Yeah.
He's
Which
the only.
here's his backstory. He made a trial for it, and he'd never acted before, but he was really good at tornado kicks, which are those spinning jump kicks that he would do all the time.
Yep.
And they said, "Don't worry about acting. We'll teach you how to act. You just keep doing those moves."
So I mean,
Backstory. I remember reading it, and I memorized it because it was neat.
it's kind of weird because just how much it was and how cheap they were with it. I mean,
You should
it was
see much
obviously
footage
a cash
college.
cow. It was a huge cash cow, but they just kind of let it wither away because people got tired of the reused footage, the cheap production, and just the lack of story.
Well, see, that's
And
when they switched everything up.
Yeah, and that's why In Space is probably the best one because they actually put effort into In Space.
Yeah, Space looked like it had actual effort into its sets. They weren't reusing the same 8 years of sets.
Not just the sets, but the storylines as well. There was an actually cohesive plot. It tied everything together from the past.
There's actually a reason for that. Uh, of course, after the two movies that were done, the TV show was actually slower in progressing than the show was, like well, except for the Turbo movie. But they had uh like still when they were doing their initial Mighty Morphin Power Rangers
I
series.
tried to watch the Turbo movie here recently. I couldn't.
It's actually not bad. It's actually not bad
I
when
don't
you look at it.
remember the Turbo movie.
Bad.
Well, by itself, it's kind of stupid. But that one actually is canon. But what I was gonna say is, the storyline. You know what? Screw it. I have to do the rant at this point in time because it's important that I do. I'm sorry. I have to do it. Okay.
Go ahead. It's not back to back anymore.
Yeah. Okay. The original Power Rangers, were fantastic. It was dumb. Mindless entertainment is what it was. When they got to Power Rangers Zeo, it starts getting even stupider. Okay. They've lost their powers. They have to have a thing called the Zeo Crystal. It splits up, and oh look, Billy, screw you. You don't get to be a Power Ranger anymore. But we're gonna keep you on as a hired hand. Even though you're graduating high school early, we're gonna keep you on as Power Ranger because you're there, and we're gonna treat you like the janitor and mechanic that you actually are, rather than anything else. Okay, so they had the Zeo powers.
Billy's the most confusing character throughout the show.
He
just
is
because of how his roles changed.
He is he gets like on screen he gets some of the worst possible treatment for like for a character. But he literally becomes Step and Fetch It with the Power Rangers, and it gets even dumber when you realize that Catherine, the Pink Ranger who took over after Kimberly left, her character is essentially whitewashed and she's given a new one. Okay, when she starts off, she was a literal cat, like a white cat that was able to turn into a human. That was sent to invade Kimberly and Aisha's friendship and some stupid convoluted story. And what it is,
I don't remember that. Wait,
yes,
what?
Yes.
She was a cat?
Yes, she was an actual cat. She was a literal magical cat that could transform into a human. Conveniently, a tall, blonde, beautiful woman from Australia, apparently because reasons I don't know. It's a stupid concept. But she was an actual cat sent by Rita. Okay.
Blonde
They named the cat PC, part cat, and then, oh no, look at that. When she becomes a human, she starts having problems. She's confused. And then she starts having memories. By the time of Power Rangers Zeo, there is no more mention at all of the fact that Cat was ever an actual cat. She's from Australia. She has a childhood. She remembers her parents. She was a diving expert and all this stupid stuff. And, having streamed it, and watching it back to back to back, I'm like, no, damn it, no, she's a cat. Like 5 episodes ago, she was walking around being carried by Kimberly and mewling. No, she's not a person. She's an actual animal, and it's stupid. Okay, but Zeo
maybe somebody realized the cat idea was stupid and said, "Yeah, that was dumb. That was my fault. Let's just pretend
I would hope
happened."
so. I would hope so. I would really hope so. But Zeo,
I really do. I think they just completely dropped the story because Power Rangers does that. It drops stories all the time.
Oh,
it just completely just
what about
abandons
those water
them.
rangers that would pop up every once in a while from the planet Hydron?
Yeah, the Rangers of
Or the
Aquitaine
other
showed up.
Rangers.
Oh no, we're in trouble. Why not call the Hydro Rangers?
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, see, the
Didn't
Rangers
Billy
of
go off
Aquitaine.
with Hydro Rangers? Wasn't that Isn't that how he went away? He got
Yes.
some weird aging disease and went with the Hydro Rangers so they could keep him alive.
And then he fell in love with one of them and decided to have alien babies.
Yeah, that's
And
the
he was
Rangers
the
of
one.
Aquatan, and that was actually Billy's goodbye because they brought in the Gold Ranger, who was Trey of
Which was
Triforia.
Tommy all over again, wasn't it?
No, no, no.
Forget.
Well, okay, yeah, but it was basically 3 times the Tommy and Trey of
No,
Triforia.
that was
Trey of Tri. I'm sorry, but Trey of Triforia is stupid. He's stupid. Apparently, his entire race is 3 different emotions. Literally 3 emotions. I mean, like the average human being has probably got 97 types of emotions, but no, the Triforians only have 3 emotions, and they're all fused together, and they have to have this happy little, you know, fluffy bunny balance type thing going on, and they have to be able to coexist. Well, his emotions just all of a sudden stop working. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Lose your powers is what you're going to do, jackass. So what do they do? Because the Gold Ranger powers are going to go away, and all 3 Treys are going to die on Earth, away from their family, away from their home. So we have to find a replacement. So what do? We bring Jason back. We bring the guy that we wouldn't pay in the original series back to the show for about 5 episodes, and he's just there. And look, we give him the powers, and then oh, look at that! Screw you, Jason. We're gonna take them away from you because we want to give them back to Trey because the triplets that were portraying Trey were apparently more interesting than a former Power Ranger. So Jason just gets to walk off the show. And around this point in time is when they had a lot more cast changes. They went into Turbo.
I think,
They
well,
went. They went. Hang on.
I think
Hang on. Hang on.
I was just gonna say, I think the weirdest thing about Jason is he actually would have been, or I'm not sure if he would have been more popular than Tommy, but they just seemed to want to pay Tommy way more than they wanted to pay Jason.
They did. And see,
It was always
the thing is,
weird dynamic.
and see, the thing is, when Tommy joins the team and he officially becomes a Power Ranger, actually, when he becomes the White Ranger is all of a sudden better than the Red Ranger. The White is better than the Red. Think about that for a second. Think about all the accusations of racism on Power Rangers and how you have the Asian actress portraying the Yellow Ranger, the black actor is the Black Ranger, uh, Jason was supposed to have been Hispanic, but Rocky actually is. So you have people associated with red or like it's racist. It's racist as hell. So what they did is the white man is all of a sudden better than the red man. That's literally what they did for no reason. For no reason at all. All of a sudden Tommy is
Look,
just the leader.
he has
and
armor. Armor makes him better.
oh, okay.
So I
Well,
do remember when
armor.
Red Ranger got to borrow Tommy's armor. That was pretty cool.
but see, here's the thing. It's like all of a sudden, the white one is better than the red one, and the red one just acquiesces. He's like, okay, you're an amazing leader. I don't know what I would do without you. What you would do is be leading the damn team, dude. You'd be leading the Power Rangers.
And that was one of the weird. That's also one of the weirdest things about Power Rangers is the Red Ranger is the default leader on almost every series. However, at some point in every series, he always gets upended by some brand new ranger that they bring on.
Specialty Ranger number 5.
Yes, exactly. And see, by the time you
So
get
I
Power
have
Rangers
Green
Turbo,
Ranger.
The White
Son,
Ranger.
What is your favorite Ranger? Not actor, Ranger. I mean, they can be the same, but they don't have to be.
I've always liked the Red Ranger the best because they were the default leader. And it always annoyed me and kind of pissed me off because they would always replace him as the leader halfway through the show for no goddamn reason.
they do, which that actually becomes even more apparent when you get to Power Rangers Turbo, because here's the thing: after they've lost their powers, they all of a sudden have new powers out of freaking nowhere. So they get the Turbo Zords, and Rocky has become the Blue Ranger at this point in time. And oh, look at that! Tommy gets to become the Red Ranger because Tommy's amazing. Tommy is apparently the next best thing to Jesus. I think.
He was
I
always
don't
supposed
know.
to be the Red
So,
Ranger.
so,
He
so,
is
so,
no,
so,
Power Rangers treats Tommy as Jesus. He
yeah.
even shows up in the later the later series. He just appears and saves the day
Tommy
repeatedly.
could appear tomorrow in Power Rangers, whatever, which is airing now, I assume, and be like, "Hey guys, can I be on the show again?" Yes, yes you can, and you could be the leader. And somewhere there's some guy who, but
They make him the I think it's in Power Rangers.
the other people are taking a pay cut.
Just actually
He does show up, but see,
for leader
uh,
person.
you two are lucky
Well, no,
for having
no,
skipped Turbo.
Tommy was always. Zordon was just a hand puppet of Tommy.
Yeah, but you two are very lucky for having skipped Turbo because I had to watch this stupid shit. I had to
No,
watch
I
it.
did.
Oh,
I watched
oh
it. It was
man. Oh, it is
I watched part of it,
it
but
is
I just
I'm an
arguably
stopped
8-year-old
because it
kid.
was so
Now I'm
bad.
a full-grown man.
It was so bad.
it is
Why not
arguably the
find
worst
another
Power
teenager?
Rangers
They did that all the other
season I've
time.
watched so far.
I don't
Tommy
think it's
apparently
arguably
is
the
all
worst. I think it is the worst.
yeah,
Also,
so
I
far
hate
it is.
vehicles as
But
Zords.
Tommy,
I hate vehicles as Zords. They don't do anything. Look, I have tires. I can drive really fast. Go, Zord, go. Ram him in the toe. Yes.
That
well,
was
see,
another thing that annoyed me. Replacing
the
dinosaurs,
dragons or the T-Rex Zord could do it awesome, and
the
you know
dragons, and the animals. The Zords are supposed to be animals of some sort.
that's one thing that I hated about the Ninja was in the movie they showed all the Zord CGI versions, of course, doing all these things, and then you never saw the Zords do anything individually, almost in the Ninja series. They were just there to combine.
well, see, the thing is, I actually like the Turbo Zords. The reason is, when they form the Megazord, it actually has one of the coolest formation sequences in the series. It really is. Like they're driving around, and they have to do like this jump to jump in the back of one of the cars, and two other ones will link together and spin. Like it's actually pretty badass to watch. It really is.
You like how they transform, but
Yeah.
you don't actually like the Zords.
No, I'm not really a big fan of the Zord, but Turbo, like I said, is probably one of the dumbest ones, because we've introduced a child, a literal child, like he's like 12 or whatever he is. I don't remember.
Well, no, Angel Grove has a shortage of teenagers
Yeah.
with attitude.
I still don't understand why any TV show thinks that adding a kid is a good idea.
Well,
okay,
here,
it has
here's
never worked.
Here's the thing.
It has never
Apparently,
worked.
what happened was, Saban wanted to give the chance for a younger actor who's a fan of the show to actually be in it, which is how I can't think of her name, the little hippie blonde girl that's in Harry Potter. She's actually a fan of it, and that's how she got on the show in the movie. I mean, okay, so this kid that plays Justin becomes the new Blue Ranger. They have to do some stupid mass shift thing where when he morphs, he all suddenly becomes an adult, like adult sized body and adult sized power, and they give him these stupid storylines. It's horribly done, but thankfully,
Well, he has to become an adult because they're using the Japanese footage still.
I know,
So
but,
they have.
but it's dumb. See, like, not Power Rangers, Transformers.
Are they using the Japanese footage?
Yes, they
Yeah,
were.
they're still using Japanese footage, I think.
They were still using. No, well, not now. Now it's actually individually done. But anyway, it gets dumber than this. And like it gets a lot dumber than this. Okay, they're still doing the Turbo Ranger thing, and it's at the point in time where you have to where you have to find new Rangers, which has become a tradition at this point in time. You have to like, but they start replacing them a lot quicker. Okay, so about maybe halfway through Power Rangers Turbo, uh, there's this massive attack on Angel Grove, and Zordon, who has already left the Power Rangers and has gone back to his home planet, is like, look, kids, you have to exchange your powers right now because reasons. So what they do is there are three, like they completely replace the entire cast except for Justin. But Justin does not get to become the leader, which is strange because in the past, the one who was the one who was there before the rest of them, like has the most time served, actually becomes leader. No, Justin doesn't get
Which
to
makes
become
sense.
leader. We hire a brand new random person, and Nick, you might remember me saying this, but what happens with this is essentially affirmative action in Power Rangers. Okay, we replace people who actually are capable of doing the job with three people who are semi-capable of doing the job because you actually see them more often. Okay,
They know martial arts, but that's about it. Have you ever piloted a giant mecha before? No. Have you ever fought giant monsters before? No. Have you ever fought putties? What's a putty? You're hired.
Well, no, really, they bring in two new characters who actually interact with the Rangers they're going to replace. Okay, so you actually see uh, these two people, helping them out and everything. And it's places for Tommy and Catherine. Okay, but they actually help them through something. Okay, the new who becomes the Green Turbo Ranger and the Yellow Turbo Ranger are just two Hispanic actors who have nothing to do with anything else. Okay, and it's weird. It's literally an instance of Mexicans coming and taking your job. Okay, I'm sorry that makes me sound like a racist, but it's what's going on. They are just shown as background characters, and then all of a sudden, the Rangers who were there to begin with, just kind of do this creepy thing like where they look at them through a window or something like that, and then the new ones kind of realize you're there. Oh, look at that! You're in the power chamber. You're switching powers. All of a sudden, you're Power Rangers, and then you just know everything, and that's where it gets really, really
How'd you
dumb.
know how to do that? I read the training manual. There's a training manual?
Amuro Ray had better training than these people did. Okay, but that's where Turbo gets really, really stupid. And by the time they get to Power Rangers in space, oh look, they've actually developed a plot out of all this convoluted nonsense. And Power Rangers in space, yes, it actually is better. It really is the best season so far.
Diva Talks in Submarine was pretty dumb too.
Space has actually got a few points in it where it's kind of silly, but it's actually it is worth watching. It really is. I finished it last night about
Jonathan,
four
you never
o'clock in the
answered
morning.
my question. Who is your favorite Power Ranger?
Kimberly,
Kimberly? I would say that mine is Jason D. Frank, the Green Ranger. Not the White Ranger, the Green Ranger. He was evil, he's good, he's got a dagger that works just as well as any other weapon, and it rises up the mighty Dragon Zord, who is pretty much a Megazord all on its own.
I like the original Red Ranger. Just because I'm an original.
the Dragon Zord is my favorite Zord. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a giant dragon.
It is. You need to post a picture of the Megazord or the Dragon Zord and Mecha Godzilla side by side.
I would like to see them fight. I want to know who would win.
Yeah, seriously, who wins? Green Ranger or or a team of
Mecha
Japanese
Godzilla.
scientists who originally designed it to stop Godzilla?
question worth asking.
They look a lot alike. They both have missile tubes in their hands and teeth and a
I mean,
tail
I'm pretty
like a
sure it
drill
was
bit.
modeled after Mechagodzilla. But go on with this. Go on with your rant, John.
Oh, I was just gonna say that Power Rangers in Space, it has some really dumb moments in it, you know, but
I mean,
uh,
it's Power Rangers.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, okay, for example, it starts off, typical teenage drama type stuff. It's really stupid, uh, but actually, what gets them involved in this, like what gets them to go to space, um, is the command center has been destroyed. Uh, Zordon has actually been captured. They have nothing else to do,
So he went to his home planet.
but
No, he actually gets captured.
yeah,
At
yeah,
the end of Turbo.
yeah. He gets he gets captured. The command center is destroyed completely. Like there's no way that even the power chamber underneath it is going to exist. Like I mean, it's gone
I hope
for good.
Alpha 5 died. Alpha 5 outlasted most Power Rangers.
Uh, the original Alpha went with Zordon to Eltar. This one is Alpha 6, and and Alpha 6. Yo, Alpha 6 be talking with a New York accent. That's the way it talks. It's dumb. Okay, it was dumb. It pissed me off. But Alpha's voice controls were messed up during the attack, and so Alpha gets a new voice where he sounds a lot more like the original Alpha 5, but it's more of a feminine voice. Uh, Still gets some stupid lines. Anyway, moving on here. Um, they have to
Well,
go find Zordon and
side
capture
thing.
Zordon.
I think a lot of the side characters like Bulk and Skull and Alpha ended up living longer in the show than many Power Rangers. Am I right?
Bulk and Skull actually, I think they've been in almost every season.
They actually have, except for the one following Lost Galaxy, the one that follows space. It's only one of the actors. But there was a point in time where they were working on something else during Turbo, where they became monkeys.
Oh.
My God,
They
If,
they
probably just
became
make
if I
actual
them
admire
look
monkeys.
okay,
anyone,
not being major actors in the show, but they have. If you think about it, have you
actually, if
ever
I
seen
admire
Power
anyone from Power,
Ranger actors in anything else ever?
if I admire anyone from Power Rangers, really, it's actually the actors for Bulk and Skull because they stuck with the show and
It's
they know
true.
how much it meant to kids and they wanted to be there.
And they chose to be the comic relief, stupid idiot. You know, it's not a glamorous part, but
And their
they
characters
stuck with it.
actually evolved a lot. Like they are the only characters with real character growth. They
They
went
actually
from
are.
being
They
bullies,
actually are.
So it takes 10 seasons of Power Rangers for one character to have growth.
but they went from being bullies to actually being good guys and helping the Power Rangers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like okay,
yeah, I remember that.
like I said last night, I finished it. It was probably about 4 o'clock in the morning when I finished it in space, and I will admit I actually shed a couple tears over the final episode because what happens, uh, up to this point, no one is supposed to know who the Rangers are. Okay, like it's supposed to be secret. Um, Even though at this point in time, in the series, there's actually two aliens. They're humans, but they're from another planet. Okay, and Astronema is the baddie here, and she defeats this over evil called Dark Spectre. Dark Spectre is a reuse of the volcano demon from the Turbo movie with a stupid voice, stupid voice. Anyway, um,
I
Astron.
will destroy you.
No, it's more like this. He talks like this. It's stupid. Anyway, um, Astronema has managed to, well, because she killed Dark Spectre, every other evil force in the universe, Rita, Zed, the Machine Empire, uh, Divatox, like every other animated Power Ranger we've ever had, all the monsters, all the minions, everything, are all of a sudden, um, under her control. Okay, because she's the badass.
I remember that. Lord Zed couldn't resist, and he was upset about it, but he had to do it.
Yeah. So what they do is they take over every location the Power Rangers have ever been in the entire series and just start, killing people and taking things over. Well, they go to Angel Grove. Actually, it was
No, no,
Divatox's
no.
army.
People don't actually die in Power Rangers. That building was empty.
That's true. Yeah, but uh,
And
uh,
that car with people in it, those were fake people.
Astronoma's forces and some of Divatox's take over Angel Grove, and the Rangers are there, and they're captured. And they have no Zords at this point in time. Everything's been destroyed. What are we going to do? Well, Astronema says that they have until the next morning. The people of Angel Grove have until the next morning to reveal who the Rangers are, or she's going to kill them all. She's going to kill everybody in the city, and then blow up Earth, because why not? You know, have a few extra deaths tacked on to just killing everybody. I don't. It's dumb concept wise, but whatever. So the next day, when she shows back up, she's like, "Where are they?" Everyone at Angel Grove, starting with Bulk and Skull, stand up and say, "I'm a Ranger." Okay, it's beautiful. And then you hear like this, "Hey!" And look up at everybody else. All the Rangers are standing there, and they're like, "No, we're the Rangers." And everyone kind of looks at them, and Bulk and Skull are like, "What?" And then they morph in front of all of Angel Grove, and every person, every citizen goes insane, and they start fighting all the monsters and everything. And Bulk and Skull look at one another, and they turn back to the crowd. They're like, "Let's get them!" And they shake hands and they fight. Like all of Angel Grove comes together and fights. It's beautiful. It really is. I mean, like all these.
I'm the Ranger in you.
Pretty much. But it really broke with tradition. Like it actually puts into perspective how much of a danger this actually was. Like they had to morph in front of people who are supposed to know who they are, and then everyone else is like, you know what? We don't give a shit. We're gonna fight with you. It's like that moment in Spider-Man 2 where
Well, the next day after they beat everything, Skull walks up to them and says, I heard this rumor that a kid was a Power Ranger and he'd morph and he'd grow in size to be it. Is that true? And then whoever was Power Ranger that he was talking to says, that is pure bull crap. Bull crap.
But it's kind of like that moment in the second Spider movie, where he's battling Doctor Octopus on the elevated train, and he stops the train, and his mask comes off, and everyone's like, "It's fine, we know who you are. We're not gonna say anything. We got your back." It's kind of like that,
which is one of my favorite movie moments.
It is.
Manly tears.
But that's where In Space leaves off. They go home, and then they're no longer Rangers. Like they have nothing else to do. And then Lost Galaxy starts off with
because they beat everybody. Everybody.
Yeah, they did. Actually, no, they didn't beat them. They killed them. Literally. Zordon tells one of the Rangers that he has to shatter his energy tube. Zordon dies. Zordon is gone forever. Okay, there's no more Zordon. He's dead. Actually dead. On-screen death. What he does is his tube is shattered, and you see every monster, all the minions, the putties and everything else, they're all destroyed. Like they're turned to dust. So you see essentially.
All we need is like Billy to build a time machine and go back to the first episode. And the Power Rangers, when they're teleported, they can go outside the command center and get large rocks and shatter the tube and save everyone.
Actually, you probably could, but it's weird. Rita and Zed are made good again. Divatox is made good again.
Billy could pick up a British accent and his.
Are you suggesting that Billy is a Time Lord?
No.
Possibly.
I think he could be. I'm not saying he is.
He does have that moment where he ages and then gets younger. It's strange.
True. I'm saying if it's that easy to kill all the monsters, then
I mean, are we really putting anything past?
Everybody.
Are we really putting anything past Power Rangers?
No. So where does Lost Galaxy pick up then?
It doesn't. It actually doesn't. It actually starts in the past. It's 3,000 years ago, and apparently there are these swords. Like I watched the opening minutes
Doesn't
of it.
make any sense.
It really really freaking doesn't. But okay. What I know about it so far, because I've only watched about 15 minutes. Angel Grove is now a city. It's called Terra Venture.
City if it never existed.
Like pretty much everyone at Angel Grove, decided they were tired of monster attacks, so the whole damn city becomes a space station that's capable of traveling through space. Okay, they have their own army and all this stupid stuff.
That's a really rich little city in California.
Have they made Time Rangers yet? You know they're going to. Saban is.
I think there is a Time Ranger, but
our podcast.
But what they do.
That's a really rich city.
Heroes and nothing else.
They are, but apparently what happens is the whole city decides. Well, some people move away, from what I understand, but basically the city becomes a space station.
I'm moving to New York City, where the guns are banned. It's much safer there.
See, that's my thing. Angel Grove is attacked repeatedly. Like it's every day. It's kind of like living in a comic book world. You know, like Metropolis gets destroyed every other day. How many people have to be there that are not injured by the continual attacks? And how much money do they have to have?
That the city would inevitably be filled with otaku and mecha fanatics.
I also want to know why the government does not station a military force.
They would have had their own military force of Zords. We captured a Power Ranger Zord and we reverse engineered it to, or all those destroyed Power Ranger Zords, we recovered them, and like in Gundam, we've rebuilt one, only better.
It would make sense for the government to actually, try to defend Angel Grove. I mean...
Well, see, honestly, that's where it gets interesting.
An army of suits would have done just fine.
That's actually where it gets interesting. Power Rangers in Space is the first one to have actual human-made Zords. It really is. Their space shuttle they take off in from Nasada, by the way. Nasada, not NASA, but Nasada. Their space shuttle is capable of transforming because reasons. But Nasada apparently is a bunch of secret geniuses who figured out how to make giant robot ships that could also be spaceships. So they have Nasada technology they're using, and it's a brilliant way to tie in the series that it was based off of, the Japanese series. Because there's only been a couple Zaire Ranger series, or Sentai Ranger series, or whichever one it is anyway. Where the Zords and the original the original Mighty Morphin one was based off a series where they were not mechanical Zords, they were actually gods, and the Rangers were allied with them. But a lot of the rest of them, in fact a lot of Turbo reuses footage from a series where it was actually government built robots and stuff. So when you get in space, they kind of take that idea and run with it. And there was
I can't help but think how lame it is that my entire childhood was watching American actors act out whatever little side story and then Japanese footage voiced over.
That's really how it's set up. Like they take the footage and they give it to the writers.
And it got changed to be Robotech. Only Robotech had a slightly better story than Macross in some ways.
It did. It really did.
Macross, protoculture is not an energy source like in Robotech. It's culture. And that's what wins the war. You just kind of like, I kind of like the Robotech version better. At least I did. Somebody hates me now.
But by the way, yes, Nick. I think it was Nick who mentioned this. There is a point in time where Tommy does come back, and it's in one of the more recent series. It was Legendary Battle or something like that. I don't remember what it's called.
I remember he was in like Dino something, and also in the Ninja Storm or something.
I do hate when they make CGI Zords.
He's been in a couple of them, actually.
Whenever they make CGI Zords, they look like crap. I'd rather they did stop motion or puppets or something.
He does show up
Like,
a lot.
I haven't really watched the new series, but I kind of keep up with them casually, just because my younger brother would watch them every now and then a couple of years ago. And then just sometimes they'd be on, and I just want to see what they were doing. The show, basically.
The giant monster mech battles got better over time.
Yeah, I mean...
To a degree.
Mm.
Or maybe I just caught the good episode while I was at college.
But yes, as technology improved, obviously, the show, you would hope it get a little better.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to the Megaforce seasons, which is when they had Legendary Battle around in there. Because apparently what happened is there is this very, very big evil in the universe, because we didn't kill them all before, ha ha ha, anyway, who shows up, and they have to contact a series of legendary rangers, and I think the way it's set up is it's one or two from every season that show up, and lo and behold, Tommy is the leader of them all. Ha 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 ha.
Of course.
But
and
he is
the same as it was 10 years ago.
But see, here's the
thing.
It's
because Tommy is Jesus in Power Rangers. Tommy is literally Jesus.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. His last power, the last time he was a Ranger, he was the Red Turbo Ranger. So you would think, he would still be the Red Turbo Ranger. Nope. He is not the White Ranger either. Nope. He's the Green Ranger.
Woo! Does he get cool chest armor again?
He gets it's actually a remake of the original armor, and they screwed up when they were printing the helmet. So instead of it being like all green, the ridge, that's where the nose is actually silver, and it has a few other differences in it, but it's essentially the same armor set.
What, they didn't have it anymore? Don't these movie studios lock that up for reuse?
I'm not sure all the details, but at this point in time, Power Rangers is no longer even made in the United States. It's actually made in Australia now.
Weird. A lot of things are made in Australia, though. There was a sci-fi series named Farscape, and it was made entirely in Australia.
It's essentially so Saban can make even more money.
It's true. Saban kind of ruins things, truth be told, but we get stuff that we wouldn't have had otherwise, so it's like a double-edged sword. They got a hold of there was a show called G-Force on Cartoon Network, a cartoon, which probably has some, Japanese name like Gotcha Man or I don't know. And then Saban got a hold of it, changed the voices, and called it Eagle Force. And it wasn't as good.
Nothing Saban makes is as good as the original.
No.
They always change it for the worse, but at the same time, we would not have the shows
license. Stop it!
Without Saban. It's a weird, yeah. It's definitely a double-edged sword.
The interesting part to me is when you mentioned Hillary Clinton being a robot earlier. Saban is actually one of her top donors. He's very, very much in favor of her.
I was gonna guess this.
That seems appropriate.
Rip off the
I
little
don't know
guy,
why, but it
rich
seems
guy.
appropriate.
Of course, Democrats are on taxing the rich, except that rich people are the ones usually proposing this, so you know something's wrong.
So, since we've kind of discussed the series so far, what are your thoughts? What are both your thoughts on the upcoming reboot that's coming out next year?
Ooh, is that a
I'm
movie or a show?
curious because I want to know what they're going to try to do with it. Are they going to try to appeal to a newer audience or the old audience?
Well, you can kind of already see it in toys, since I'm a toy guru. You go to the toy aisle stuff in the play school section. You know, where they have these short little stubby characters with big hands and 5 points of articulation and
Which makes me think
mini
that they're going to try to appeal to
actually
the
more
old.
affordable than the actual Zord toys.
Which makes me think they're going to try to appeal to an older audience because they're going to try to make a more adult-ish version of Power Rangers.
But if they don't have the same characters,
I mean,
it's probably going to be just annoying. You know what I mean? Like when you watch some movies, I don't think it's bad that they reboot them. Sometimes the reboot's better, but most of the time it's worse.
yeah, I mean, historically, most reboots have not been great.
Like,
Um,
I really like the Time Machine reboot. However, that said, I've never seen the original.
I mean, perhaps, and I've said this before, I consider Star Wars 7, even though it is a continuation, to almost be a reboot. Um, and a lot of people complain that, it stole so much stuff from A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, but that's because I think it's genuinely partly a reboot.
It is kind of.
And
I mean, it's a continuation reboot, but
yeah,
there's a whole generation of people who.
I've
I
never
mean, the last
seen.
Star Wars movie came out quite some time ago.
Yeah, a lot of younger people have never
And the
seen the
good
original
Star
Star
Wars
Wars.
movies came out in the
My,
80s.
my, my little brother has not seen the original Star Wars yet. I didn't even think about that or realize it till a long time ago, and I was kind of shocked, and I was like, oh wow, like, I need to show you that. Um, it's reboots of very old things, are necessary sometimes, so they need to
Gundam Origin is a reboot, if you will, of the original Gundam.
yeah.
And truth be told, the original Gundam's animation is so old.
Oh yeah,
I don't feel like
it'd be
the
hard
dub
for
was
anyone to
bad, but
watch
I'm
it.
not one of those uber picky people. But
Yeah, but
there's
it,
inconsistencies, like the shield takes a hit from a mega particle cannon. It's totally fine. 3 episodes later, the shield's melting. You know, and you're like, that's more realistic. You know, the original Gundam was supposed to be 50 episodes, and it got cut to be 42 episodes because it originally flopped, actually. So it was rebooted as 3 movies. And what it really needs is, in the same style of animation but crisper and cleaner with, good voice actors, is a reboot of 50
yeah. So
episodes.
I
It
mean,
should
and
have
Power
been.
Rangers would
Never gonna
not.
get Origin, which is cool, but it's it adds and it changes.
Well,
You know?
I mean, if they try to remake Power Rangers in the same way as it was originally shown,
Yeah.
even the movies, it would not do well at all because kids are used to better graphics, better
Better.
storylines,
I mean, really,
crisper.
the old Power Ranger Zord monster battles were classic Godzilla.
Yeah, which was fun back then because we had nothing better. We had no and little experience in things like that.
And it is still somewhat better than pure CGI at times,
Yeah,
depending on the CGI.
it's still a lot of
Giant
fun, but at the
monster
same
giant
time,
movie was fun.
it would not relate well to new audiences. So if they're going to make the reboot for a new audience, which they have to a certain degree, they're going to need to change a lot of things. The acting's going to need to be better. Uh, the story's going to need to be more cohesive.
But
It's a
you could
really
appeal
big
to kids by
undertaking.
having 5 Kid Rangers.
Yeah, if they're gonna go with kids, they need 5 kids reading. But we know they're not going with kids. They're going with adults. Or yeah.
My favorite arc of Power Rangers, having not seen Space, will always be the Green Ranger Chronicle of
Which
like
was
7 episodes or whatever, where Tommy's evil and Rita Repulsa controls him and he kicks everybody's butts. And the Dragon Zord kicks butt, and then he becomes
I think
good,
that's
and you're like, yeah!
I think that's most people's favorite arc. Even with In Space, it was probably the best done of anything. Um,
Bring
it
back
was.
the Dragon Zord! Bring it back!
I mean, the Dragon Zord was awesome. It was completely awesome. I was a little. I didn't like the Green Ranger story arc as much, just because. I guess I was. e- I mean, I was still young, but I was just kind of annoyed at how he replaced the Red Ranger as the leader suddenly, and then the
Yeah, you
whole
can see like the Red Ranger. All right, guys, let's do. Hey guys, I'm here. Oh, it's you. All right, guys, let's do it. That's my line.
yeah, it was a little awkward, and then the whole redemption story. I've seen it before. It's not. It wasn't anything new to me, even at a young age. It's like, oh look, this
Never
guy's
been able
evil.
to outdo Tommy. Like they're like, wouldn't it be cool if like Tommy lost his powers and we lost him as a ranger? And, you know, you're real sad, and then he comes back as the White Ranger half a season
Yeah,
later.
it was just Tommy was always a character that slightly annoyed me, more than anything, just because I knew exactly what was going to happen. It was just like, oh look, it's Tommy. He's going to come save the day.
Jason, you've been voted off the island.
It was one of those weird caveats of Power Rangers, I'd say. But yeah, but back to the reboot or the remake or however you want to say it. I mean, it's one of those things I'm excited for, and I really don't know what they're going to do with it or how they're going to go with it.
Well, from what I understand, it's it's going to be a reboot, but they're using new actors to portray Jason, Jeannie, Kimberly. You know, the original characters. They're going
Yeah,
to
they're
start
You
off
all
will
new
have
as
actors.
Tommy when the Green Ranger shows back up.
it's
They're
gonna
all new.
it's
Hey,
gonna be one of
it's
those
you.
gritty reboot type things. Of course, it has to be a gritty reboot. But they're of course they're gonna start out not being friends. You know, they're not really gonna get along. And from what I understand,
That's
I think
another thing that I kind of don't like. I don't like all these gritty things. Even the Batman versus Superman movie. Why does it need to be so gritty? Why does there need to be a blue filter on everything?
because
Like,
it's
Did
Batman
well,
that movie come
now.
out?
What's that?
but they're doing the same thing in Wonder Woman. Look at the Wonder Woman trailer. It is a blue filter. Look at Superman. What is going on? When did we become so dark and depressing all the time with everything?
Hey, now I actually happen to like what they're doing with Wonder Woman. So anyway, what I was gonna say. is
I'm
that
just saying,
apparently
when that
apparently they're going to start out as not being friends. The new characters are not going to be friends in this. Like they're just going to do their job and then go to their separate lives, which is kind of interesting.
it's gonna be Fantastic Four all over again because that would be bad.
How about no more
I didn't
Fantastic
even
Four?
watch that movie.
How about
Because
we just
that's isn't that the plotline to Fantastic Four, the new Fantastic Four movie? They're not friends. They just go
It had a
about their
plotline?
yeah,
business.
kind of. But see, here's the thing. How about Hollywood? If you're gonna make a reboot of something, how about you just look at Fantastic Four and you look at Spider-Man and you say no, just don't touch that again because no, no, no,
You
no,
actually made it worse.
bad dog, bad
True.
dog.
You do realize 30 years from now they're going to try rebooting all of our Marvel films.
Yes, I do.
Or 20 years. You know, they're getting kind of desperate these days.
Or 10 years.
We'll see. Speaking of reboots, and we're actually at like a little over an hour right now, so this might be the last thing to talk about. Speaking of reboots, the trailer for the new Ghostbusters was released
It
yesterday.
looks horrible. It
I
looks
haven't
horrible.
seen the trailer, but I heard about what they were going to go with it.
It
was like
looks
replacing all the
horrible.
male characters with women, or you just
I don't
read
care
the
that they
Ghostbusters.
replace all the
Don't
male
do it.
characters with women. I don't care. What I care about is it looks so bad. It looks so forced. Like, everything about it looks forced.
It is
Like, they were
forced.
trying so hard.
It actually is forced. But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I am perfectly fine with gender bending characters. I am okay with that. Okay, it's
It's
wonderful.
not even gender bending, though. It's just new characters. I can accept that. I
No,
don't
Yeah,
have
new
a
no,
problem.
no, no, no,
Rebooting
no.
characters is different than what they were. Annoys me. But like, there was a cartoon called Extreme Ghostbusters. Let's go that route. That was awesome. There was a girl Ghostbuster, and I don't care if they'd add some more girl Ghostbusters, even give it to the lead character, you know, which I think she was pretty much the lead.
Well, see, here's the thing.
That was a weird theory. Had a Mexican Ghostbuster, a black wheelchair Ghostbuster, and a girl Ghostbuster, and then an old Egon.
But see, okay. Here's the thing with it. They actually are just gender bending them. Okay. If you look at the characters, you can tell exactly who is supposed to be who. Okay. Melissa McCarthy is supposed to be Bill Murray, and I don't know anyone else's name that's on in the movie other than Chris Hemsworth. I'm sorry, but if you look at the way he dresses, you know, short haircut and glasses, he's Janine. I'm sorry, he's Janine. She dressed well in the movie. You know, she typically wore black and white. He's wearing black and white. He's Janine. Slimer's even in this. The one who is supposed to be Ray. You see her get possessed. You see her get slimed. That's all shit that happened to Ray. Okay. The one with the blonde crazy hair and the glasses. That's Egon. Now I know that Egon didn't have blonde hair in the movies, but in the cartoons he did. Okay. He did in the cartoons. Okay. Blonde crazy haircut in the cartoons. That's what you have. I mean, now here's the thing. Here's the thing. To me, the CGI looks good. I like the way the ghosts look. Okay, they're beautifully done.
It does.
I really enjoy the effort that was put on the props, like the traps and the proton pack, stuff like that. That looks good. And I actually kind of like the new Ecto 1. I really do. But that's about it. That's about it for me. The problem is, you cannot reboot Ghostbusters. You cannot make a new Ghostbusters. Look at Ghostbusters 2. For as much as I enjoy the movie, because you know it's not bad for what it is, it does not have the same magic as the original one. It's impossible for it to. The reason it's impossible
for it to.
Number
two, because they went to such extremes, you can't outdo it. That's something you really have to watch out for when you're making movies, is you can go to such extremes, you paint yourself into a corner where no sequel could ever, you know, compare.
That's right.
I mean, I like Ghostbusters 2. I don't have a problem with Ghostbusters 2. But when I watched the trailer for this, it was amazingly bad. Like,
Are
I
they going to
had
keep
low
the same plot
expectations
line, the
going in.
same? I don't want to see the same Ghostbusters again.
I
I want
had
to
low
see. I want to see the next
expectations going in.
generation of Ghostbusters.
Yeah. And I really had low expectations going in. Like, I didn't really expect this to be good at all. And I was actually disappointed.
I won't say I was disappointed. I'll say I was angry because I I'm sorry. I am totally an egalitarian. I believe in equality and everything like that. It's fine. But looking at this, no. You can't have all female actresses portray the exact same characters, okay? I mean, you can say, well, this is a brand new thing because, it's a reboot. Haha, it's awesome. No, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me because the original
It's
Ghostbusters
not new if
was
it's a reboot.
magical. Okay, and I don't mean like invisible force magic. No, I mean it's literally magical because Bill Murray ad libbed nearly everything that he said in the movie. He did not give a damn about the script.
You
He
also
didn't
had
care
Ken
about the movie.
Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, and those were the three that carried it. Did you know that Eddie Murphy was originally supposed to be the Black Ghostbuster, but he turned down the
I
part?
That would have been cool, actually. I kind of wish that happened.
I think it would have been better.
Yeah.
Not that the
I mean,
guy who
no,
did
no
the part was
disrespect to
bad.
oh
He just
God, what's
got
his
the
name?
short stick on lines, and the most memorable thing I remember is since I've been working this job, I would see stuff that would turn you white. He's black, so it's funny.
No, I thought he did a good job in the movie, but I mean, Eddie Murphy is Eddie Murphy.
But then
You
again, Eddie
can't.
Murphy might have brought the wrong feel too.
No, I think it would have been pretty.
It might have
I think
worked.
it would have been
It's
fine.
kind of hard
I
to
think
say.
it
It
would
could
have
have
been
gone either way. But I remember there was work. There was ideas for Ghostbusters 3. I have a friend who's a big Ghostbusters fan, and there was some kind of fallout between I think Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. I'm not sure. And Harold Ramis died, and so if there was going to be a Ghostbusters 3, one of the original Ghostbusters was quoted, and he said if there was going to be a storyline for Ghostbusters 3, it would have been the Ghostbusters game that they made for the 360.
Hmm.
That effectively is your Ghostbusters 3, is what he said. Because with Harold Ramis dead, it's not happening.
Hmm. But anyways, but I mean, I think the problem with this uh the new Ghostbusters is like John said, Bill Murray made that movie. Um, Everyone else was brilliantly complimenting him, but
True.
Ghostbusters is essentially Bill Murray's movie.
Ray, what did you do? I couldn't help it. It just popped in there. What just popped in there? I tried to think of the most
And
thing. From my childhood, except
none of those
Gonzo.
actresses are on Bill Murray's level. I'm sorry, but none of them are. They're all fine comedians and actresses in their own right, but none
What
of
I would
them.
rather see would be a Ghostbusters sequel of the next generation. Bill Murray is old. Egon's dead.
And
Ray
what they
moved
should have done was
on and
exactly
with
what Star
Winston, or
Wars did
even bring in Winston,
with Han.
and give Winston actual purpose, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and what they should have done was
Then
exactly
bring in a
what
new
Star Wars did
generation
with
of
Han.
Ghostbusters.
If they included the old cast, if they included Bill and made him sort of a mentor to the new Ghostbusters, that would have been really cool. I would
Then
have liked
something
that.
like horribly tragic that never happened before, where one of the older guys dies because of something. Like they're fighting this new force, like in Extreme Ghostbusters. In Extreme Ghostbusters, the cartoon, the city had been quiet for years, years. In fact, the mayor wanted to shut down Ghostbusters because there weren't any ghosts, and so it was this flea that got broken open, and it caused a whole new wave of everything. And so there was a need for new Ghostbusters, and Egon was kind of the trainer for these new Ghostbusters. It was a fun show.
And that's really what I think they should have done with the new movie. Um, I watched the trailer and like I said, I wasn't expecting much. I really wasn't, and I was terribly, incredibly disappointed. I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to see them do well with it. But what I saw was just, it was bad. It was
I don't want to
really,
see a
really
reboot of
bad.
Ghostbusters. I want to see the next generation. That's what I want.
And that's, I've said that before about other things too. If you remember some of our conversations about comic movies and, things like that, and I've always said, I don't want to see another, Spider-Man or Captain America.
I believe your words were, I don't want to see a reboot of Pippi Longstocking. I want to see the next step
Yes,
of her
I want to see the
get
next
married.
Pippi Longstocking. I want to see her heir. I want to see the one that takes over for Pippi Longstocking and continues her legacy. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see the same character over and over again.
But now she's a man.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I don't care. As long as it's the next Pippi Longstocking.
To me, it's kind of like I'll just go with Spider-Man since we mentioned that enough times. I don't care that Spider-Man lost his his grandfather or uncle. I don't care. I don't care about Aunt May. I don't give a shit about him being in high school. I'm fine with that. I know the origin story. Okay, I know it. I know he's Peter Parker. I know he becomes a wrestler for a little bit. I know that. I don't want to keep saying it. And that was the
And they
beautiful
actually
thing.
have a new Spider-Man, a good new Spider-Man too. Miles Morales. I'm not sure if you.
And see, here's the
Brought the wit
going with his cameo in the upcoming Civil War movie. He's going to be a teenager. He's going to be like 15, 16 years old, whatever it is. I'm fine with that. But we're not going to have the origin story. He's already Spider-Man. He's been Spider-Man. I'm fine with that. It's kind of like Ben Affleck as Batman. I'm actually more excited about this because he's been Batman for a while. Okay, it's kind of like the 1989 Batman movie. Okay, you Tim Burton specifically said he was not going to be doing the origin story because everyone knows it. Okay, everybody knows how he became Batman. He knows about the parents he murdered. Okay, we don't know that. Okay, so you kind of get a little bit of discussion about it in Batman Returns. Like, well, he's aware of what went on, and of course, you have the one scene where he goes and puts two roses where his parents died in the first one. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But when Tim Burton left the movie, and well, basically everyone left it, Batman Forever was all about this childhood angst. It didn't ever stop being there. That's all it was about. Okay, and when you get to the Christopher Nolan movies,
even Poison Ivy looked bad in Batman Forever, and that takes a lot of work because Poison Ivy is stinking hot.
Yep.
Redhead, little green dress. How
Yes.
can you do that wrong? But they did. They found a way to do it wrong. They made her sick.
Which is sad because
I actually like Uma
Ivy.
Thurman as Poison Ivy. I mean, she was very very cartoony, and going back and watching it,
she was fun, but the movie itself was horrible.
But the
yeah,
cartoon Poison
but see,
Ivy.
but what I'm gonna say is, by the time you get the Christopher Nolan ones, you had the origin story. I don't care. I want a Batman who's been being Batman. I want a Spider-Man who's been being Spider-Man, and that's why I'm glad finally we're getting
that
it.
origin story was a little more entertaining because it went into him building the cave, and it wasn't. It was the most interesting origin story movie-wise that they've made.
And
I hear you.
Our discussions of Batman versus Superman. I've said that I want a Batman movie. A Batman movie. However, that doesn't mean I want an origin story for him. obviously Batman is Batman, like you said. We don't really need an origin story for him. But I would like to know a bit more about this Batman before going into the Batman versus Superman movie.
It's true. I would have
We'll see.
appreciated a prequel, if you will, where we get acquainted with this variation of Batman, and who
Yeah, I
he
mean,
is,
I
what
don't
his
need to
gadgets
see
are, what
Batman
he gets,
becoming
and
Batman.
is there a Robin? Is there a Batgirl? Did they butcher Batgirl again?
We'll see. From what I
Like,
understand,
no, I
for,
mean, I get that you're going to try and go through all of this in the span of the movie, but at the same time, that seems like a lot to take in one movie.
It
Like,
is,
you've
but you gotta
already had
understand,
your Superman movie.
DC is making animated releases of lots of its best comic books, and they've been dark and amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And so I think what they've decided is, okay, guys, we're going to give Marvel a run for their money. We're going to take one of our best stories that we already know is awesome, and we're going to adapt it to the live-action movie screen, just the same way we do with the animated ones. And if they do it that way, in that same spirit that they're doing, like Batman and the Red Hood, or the Justice League movies, or there's so many of them right now. The Wonder Woman,
But I'm still not
animated
convinced that they
movie.
can do this
It's
movie
gonna be awesome.
properly. I'm still not convinced that this is going to be what everyone wants and hopes for. I think it's
True, the
basically
movies tend to
set.
get butchered. Movie
I,
anything gets butchered.
I think it's honestly set up to disappoint.
I don't think. Okay. If it's bad, it'll be bad, but it's fine. Because Nick, you and I both know that we have a lot of issues with Man of Steel. But before this goes on too
Most
long, I
Superman
think this
movies.
might be a good stopping point, and maybe next week, Brandon, if you want to come back, we can talk about Batman vs Superman at some point in time.
Yeah, because how far away is Batman versus Superman now?
End of the
It's
month.
getting close.
The end of the month.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I think it'll be worth seeing in the movie theater. But I haven't even seen anything more than like the smallest 10-second teaser trailer that, was like, wait, they're making that movie? Show me something. Aww.
There's a couple trailers out there and some TV spots.
Yeah, there's a lot actually.
Are there any spoiler trailers? Because, like, I was really looking forward to Terminator Genesis, and then I watched the second trailer, which don't tell me anything because I haven't even seen the movie still. But I was really upset when they gave away the entire plot line.
Yeah, it does kind of spoil the movie, honestly. In my opinion.
Skip it.
Well, okay.
I'm hoping Marvel will do what they're doing with their animated films. That it will be dark and very true to the characters.
Okay. Here's the last thing I want to say about it for right now. If you're familiar with the origin of the Justice League, and if you're familiar with actually the entire plot line of The Dark Knight Returns, that's
Batman
basically where this is coming from. Okay.
Take out every member of the Justice League if need be.
Essentially, the plot line is it's different DC storylines kind of put together. Like, for example, we have an older Batman. We will see evidence of his past, like the past decade or so, 20 years, whatever it is, of him being Batman. So yes, there has been a Robin. Yes, Robin is dead. I don't know which Robin. Well, I'm assuming dead. It actually could be if you look at the if if you look at the links to Suicide Squad, because these do go hand in hand, by the way, they do go hand in hand. If you look at the links between that, it's very possible that the Joker in Suicide Squad is actually a former Robin. It could happen. I don't know. But it's an older Batman, established
like
Batman.
Beyond. Batman Beyond did that.
Well, it's happened in the comics a few times. Where you have a dead Robin as your place. But anyway, what I'm gonna say is that it's possible that if you're familiar with the stories, you can probably figure out what's going on. But apparently, there are going to be some differences in this. Like, the big reveal in the most recent trailer is, of course, Doomsday himself. Nick and I have already discussed how Doomsday comes about in this because it's kind of obvious what's going to happen. It's the only way it could even happen. But uh, it has been announced that Doomsday is actually not the big bad guy in this. Um, I kind of think it's Darkseid. I could be wrong. I don't know, but I think it's a good spot to leave for right now. Like I said, if you want to come back next week and we talk about Dawn of Justice, I think that would make for a good show.
I want the last word. If you want a good reboot, watch the CGI animated cartoon Reboot.
That's true.
That is an awesome cartoon. I agree with you.
Reboot's awesome.
It is.
Well, I think it's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Brandon for being on here and giving up yet more of your time to talk about nonsense with us. Please remember to like this video, comment on it, share, subscribe, like us on Facebook. Be sure and tell Nick how much you can't stand him because next week he'll be fired again for something, I'm sure.
Yet I'm always back.
True. It's true.
You're back from outer space.
Don't worry.
Had to
After
save
like
the
10
galaxy.
seasons, Nick, you'll have some character growth.
Well, talk to y'all later on Monday. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Goodbye.